Finally, a source of raw, real, and honest information on healthcare issues that matter most. Welcome to BS Free MD. From the latest medical information to how to stay sane as a doctor or a patient, no subject is taboo, no BS is allowed. Now, let's welcome your hosts, Doctors May and Tim Hindmarsh.
Welcome back to DOCTALES with Cocktails. And here we are where idiocracy is prophecy, memes of the week pop up.
Safe and effective.
Safe and effective
And
is the theme of the night. And I don't know.
the most
I'm here.
shit happens.
Yeah.
I have a great shit happens. That should never happen to anybody. And of course it's medical. And of course it's corporate medicine that caused the shit to happen.
And I'm going to share the new vitamin of the week. Just came in the mail today.
Like you can't.
Coming to
like,
a mailbox near you. We don't have children, but it's.
No, we have children. They're just not little children. They're big.
They're adults. We have
they're
adults. We have adults. You're right. We have adult children. We don't have little kids.
They're
Anyway.
still, which is interesting. Why are they still called children?
Yeah. Anybody know that? Please
Please
comment in the comment section.
Shouldn't it be adult offspring progeny? Shouldn't it be a different name than adult children? That's like jumbo shrimp.
Jumbo shrimp.
They're not adult.
I'm going to call our kids that. Jumbo shrimp and mini crab cake.
Well, it doesn't make sense.
Come on.
They're not children. They're adults. But but they used to be children. Do you have children? I have adult children. I also have jumbo shrimp. And like, I don't know.
I wonder if there's no medical word for adult children.
No.
Anyway.
Progeny. It should be, do you have progeny? Yes, I have adult progeny. That would be actually correct.
Oh, here you go. I was going to look up adult children, and the first thing pops up is in the search engine, adult children of emotionally immature parents. I wonder why that is. They must be watching the show.
Well, they're listening to.
AI.
They're listening to our new
is
best.
watching the show. DOCTALES with Cocktails.
Yes, to our new best friend Roger McFillin.
Oh.
Yes, that's exactly correct.
That's pretty funny. All right. Well, what do you got for us tonight?
Okay. Well, in the first, I have safe and effective, which when you hear this, it's gonna blow your mind. Idiocracy is prophecy, which literally we will probably have every single week. And then shit happens, an excellent shit happens segment, and potentially kind of a meme, not really a meme of the week, more of a video of the week. There's this guy that creates the best political, where they take something from an old TV show and put like Kamala head and Trump head on the people. I mean, it's spectacularly good. Spectacularly good.
And tonight's all filled with like highly intelligent medical information.
Yeah,
correct?
It is, which we will mock mercilessly because that is the Navis. And I have got my Beavis and Butthead Go to Power Trip shirt on, which is amazing.
So apropos.
Yes. Power Trip was, we won't talk about that, but it was absolutely completely worth the extra 500 miles we drove when we moved. It was amazing.
Almost a year ago today.
Almost a year ago. I mean, it's amazing. All right. First segment. Here we go.
Wow, that looks healthy. A big pile of
Safe
cigarettes.
And effective. So here is the first slide in safe and effective. Why Pfizer is dipping into direct-to-consumer telehealth with Pfizer for all.
Oh, isn't that so nice? Pfizer for all. That sounds like what? Canada, healthcare for all.
To address the complicated healthcare landscape. Who made it complicated? The U.S. Pfizer launched a new direct-to-consumer virtual service called Pfizer for All. It follows Eli Lilly, which launched a similar project in January. So I have actual Pfizer.
That's quite frightening. Are they going to compete with Amazon now?
No. They are, but they're going to team up with some of these companies. And so here's right directly from the Pfizer mouth.
Pfizer is going to, I mean, it's going to be like the Google of healthcare. It's just going to take over your life.
Yeah, but it's only going to be Pfizer drugs. Pfizer for All makes managing everyday health quicker and more convenient for millions of Americans. Platform is designed for patients with migraine, COVID-19, or flu, and adults seeking vaccines for preventable diseases, including COVID-19, flu, RSV, and pneumococcal pneumonia. No, it would be amazing if those vaccines actually worked.
Wait, whoa.
That would be amazing.
What a combination. Why does it say it's designed for patients with migraine, COVID-19, flu?
Because those are drugs that Pfizer makes. Not pneumonia.
So for now they're just targeting.
Well, of course they're targeting.
No. What I mean is they're just targeting with what the products they sell.
Well, obviously, end-to-end offering gives people an easy way to connect with a qualified healthcare professional the same day, find and book vaccines, receive tests and medications at home or via a preferred pharmacy, and find savings and support if prescribed a Pfizer medication. You're going to get savings and support from Pfizer if you get a Pfizer medication.
Sounds like when
in the name?
Sounds like when you go to the wait, you don't do this, but if you did shop for the groceries and
no, I shop for the groceries. I just don't give
household products. You'd know, but it's like when you go to major grocery store or things like Target or Walmart, and they have the big savings on all the Procter and Gamble bullshit. So if you buy the Tide and the Downy and all the Procter and Gamble Ziploc, you get the bulk savings when you stock up with $30 or $40. You get the gift card. So this is what Pfizer's doing. It's like if you
it's direct.
Yeah,
it is direct to consumer, hiring people with medical licenses that can prescribe medications, and
only for Pfizer products.
A direct pipeline to Pfizer products.
So what happens if you get on there and you're like, I think I have a migraine headache, and then it's like, oh well, no, you actually have a sinus infection, but we can't help you with that. So just bugger on.
So
off of our platform.
I have absolutely no idea how this is legal.
Think about it.
Because I can't recommend a pharmacy. I cannot, as a physician writing a prescription, say, don't go to Walmart, go to Walgreens. I cannot say that. I can't. I cannot direct them, right? Because there's tons of health networks that you work for that own pharmacies. So they don't want you directly,
this isn't real patient care.
It's anti-competitive, right? I can't work for a giant health conglomerate that has a pharmacy and say, well, if you go to our pharmacy, you get 5% off. If you go to the local pharmacy, you get screwed. You can't do that. You cannot do that. That's not legal. But it's legal for a gigantic multinational corporation that makes pharmaceuticals to give you a deal on their pharmaceuticals if you go to their PA or physician and do a telehealth visit and get a prescription that's a Pfizer prescription. How in the hell is that possibly legal?
Think about it. It's like if you had to go to the mechanic, you take your car in because there's a problem. And they're like, well, we were only selling the beaded car seats and the air fresheners. And
no, but they do that all the time.
But I think I'm out of oil, and I think I need. Is it an oil change problem? Well, we can't help you with that, but we can give you an air freshener and some beaded seats for your car.
That's exactly right.
I mean,
and generally, the people that have beaded seats need an air freshener. That's generally how that works.
Think about it. How this is not healthcare. This is just.
Well, of course, it's not healthcare.
Well, why do they call it healthcare for all? Pfizer for all.
Because they lie. It's a business. I'm telling you what's going to happen.
I know, but people think, oh, it's like a telehealth and it's a Pfizer company. And yeah, it's Pfizer. I really believe in that company, but I can just do a telehealth or what. It's just coming by our stuff. But if you have a different medical problem that needs X medical company.
Okay, so this is what's going to happen.
You must look it up, in a book to see who sells.
Yeah, but this is what's going to happen. Okay, this is.
Please just stop.
I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen.
Read the comments.
Because it's absolutely no question where this is headed. Okay. You have gigantic companies like Pfizer. Pharma pours a ton of money into Congress, Senate races, et cetera, on both sides of the aisle. Amazon is not the biggest, but what, the second or third, fourth, fifth biggest company in the world. They have a direct-to-consumer healthcare brand as well with their direct-to-consumer prescriptions. There's Amazon prescriptions. You can get an Amazon provider. So now you have some of the biggest players in the financial world that donate billions of dollars to politicians.
Mm-hmm.
What is going to happen? The next thing that's going to happen is telehealth is going to really blow up, and all the restrictions on telehealth are going to go away. Even though patients largely hate it, it's going to go away. And it's because these guys want it to go away. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, the problem with telehealth is they have to harvest medical licenses, because no one can write a prescription unless you are licensed in that state, right? So you have to have a physician assistant, a nurse practitioner. That's it. Okay. So then what's going to happen is they're going to realize that's expensive, because you're going to have to pay some, even though what you get paid as a physician on these big telehealth platforms is basically nothing.
It's peanuts. I looked at it.
It's between $10 and $30 a patient. So if you can see 55 or 75 patients a day, but you could potentially...
There's not that many patients that show up.
Yeah, no, and you need them to show up. So most physicians don't really like this. They can't make it work. Okay, so then what's going to happen is this. Google already has AI embedded in its phone, okay? Apple's new phone will have AI embedded in it. Within the next 2 years, everyone will be 100% totally comfortable with AI. They will see it as a human being, basically, right? So you forget, your mother texted you 6 months ago on when she's going to show up at the airport. You just ask your phone, when is my mother showing up? When do I have to leave? And it's going to check traffic.
Well, you don't have to ask. I bet you it'll just remind you.
It's going to tell you what airline it is, whether the plane's on time. And while you're driving home, it's going to say, your mother hasn't had a Starbucks in 3 months and she wants this. Here's the next Starbucks, 2 exits down, and it's going to order it, blah, blah, blah. It's going to do all this. Okay. So people are going to be completely used to the AI.
You need to pick up your Viagra prescription.
Correct. Not me, but other people. And they're going to realize, can you imagine how tormented you would be if it was me plus Viagra? Seriously, you walked into that. Enjoy not walking for a couple weeks. So at any rate, that's true.
I'll be walking.
Maybe
you
that's
will
true.
be walking.
So potentially. So at any rate, people are going to get so used to AI, and it's going to be so personalized, and they're going to understand that the AI is smarter than them. And then they're going to go, well, the AI is smarter than everybody. So in 2 to 3 years, because the powers that be, or the people with the money, they're going to want it. Pfizer isn't going to want to have to employ a bunch of medical practitioners and pay them to do these telehealth visits. It's going to be AI. And you're going to click, a terms of service that says, this is a artificial intelligence that gathers the sum total of human knowledge and blah, 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 blah. And you're going to waive your right to sue a practitioner. And you are going to interface directly with Pfizer.
Like a chatbot. Or
Amazon or any of these. And I have the sniffles. Talk to your phone.
Have you? Okay.
Ching, prescription shows up for God knows what that, does God knows what.
How many times have you interacted with a chatbot? I was dealing with one on the...
It's not the same. It's not the same.
What do you mean?
The chatbot is not the same. The chatbot is the chatbot is the equivalent of a Slinky compared to a personal, a laptop. That's the difference. Like, people have no concept of how unbelievably powerful this is going to get. Unbelievably.
Oh, you think it's going to be that good?
No, I know it's going to be that good because it's already that good.
It will be Irene.
Yeah,
the computer, not the chat.
Yeah, it's gonna be so much, because I've seen it in certain subsegments of markets where they've applied this.
You're probably right.
That people are going to become so dependent and accustomed to this that they're going to get rid of the goal of these guys is to get rid of the medical license interface. There's no question, because that's in the way. And they're going to say, why in the world are we going to employ people that take 15 or 20 years to train to write a prescription for our pharmaceutical when we can train the AIs to do it in 100 billion times less time?
I'm telling you, prescribing chemotherapy. Can you imagine?
They'll be doing all of that stuff.
That's frightening. So Linda says, already putting up with a ton of misconceptions due to people Googling the answer.
Yeah, well, but that's the problem. That's the problem. The AI is only good as the inputted data. And a lot of it is, and then they try to fudge with it. Like when Google's AI, they said, draw me a picture of George Washington. And it's like this Native American woman. And it's like, that's not George Washington.
That's hilarious.
Because they tried to make it like politically correct.
Oh
no, it's just, it's like, I'm telling you, it's there is going to be such a market for good face-to-face cash-based healthcare coming. I guarantee you, this is where this is going. There's no way it's going someplace else. I hope it derails and goes someplace else, but this is the next step, man. I'm telling you.
How can we escape this? I don't think we can. I don't know.
Well, get on Elon's Mars launch and go to Mars and enjoy living in 75 below zero.
I'm ready for the rapture.
Mars,
please.
The planet that's Mars, the planet that's 100% of the time Saskatoon in January.
How many people know what that is?
I know Linda does.
Yeah, it's funny.
I do. All right, next segment.
Moving right along. Times Square. How I miss thee.
Idiocracy is prophecy.
How I miss thee.
This story is so contradictory in and of itself that it just begs the how in the world is this actually a thing? So here you go. Germany started a criminal investigation into a social media post where the user mocked a politician for being fat. Now, is it nice to mock people for being fat, even if they're fat? Well, of course it's not. Is it criminal? I think not.
Oh, so but it depends what country you live in.
Well, but that's the point. So here she is. Here's another picture of
maybe not in America.
Look at there she is. There she is, pouring herself a beer out of a giant beer stein. And yes, she is gravitationally challenged.
She's large.
She's big boned. She's rotund. And I would say carby there. I would back away from the beer. You probably need a little more protein. But
whatever.
I'm not practicing medicine. And hey, if she's comfortable in her own skin, God bless her. I don't care.
If you were offending the patient,
whatever. I get it. I review. So I reserve the right to A, be wrong, and B, be offensive. Sorry, I do. So, but here's the article.
You just throw yourself in a corner because you are not like that with patients. And
of course I'm not with patients.
I know.
But it's social media. And this guy doesn't like this left-wing politician. So he called her something obvious, which is fat. Okay. But here's the part that's so insane.
But she is.
Well, that's the point. Like, she is.
It's like you say, you wrinkly old geezer.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly correct. But that's the point that's so nuts. If we're supposed to be body positive and be comfortable in your skin and be honest, Lizzo, and it doesn't matter, then who cares if she called her fat? It's like going up to Elon and going, geez, Elon, you're really rich, you rich bastard. And he's like, yeah.
Right.
Or going up to Joe Rogan, it's like, you're really jacked. You must work out.
Yeah, no, but the F word is equivalent with negativity.
No, but it doesn't matter. The point is this.
Or
is everybody,
muscular.
This wouldn't be offensive, and it sure shit wouldn't be a criminal offense if it wasn't the fact that being fat actually sucks. That's the point. If it was a good thing, it wouldn't be offensive, because the whole reason it's offensive is that she's undisciplined or doing something to herself that made her that way. And he didn't even necessarily say that. But it's so funny because
What did
the
he
federal
say?
criminal
He
office,
just called her.
you cannot find the post.
Oh.
The federal criminal police office, Bundesrundfunk,
Oh, good try.
seriously, contacted Gab. So he posted this on Gab, which is
oh my gosh. I wish we could post that. You're right.
about a
You said
user
it correctly.
insulting the weight of politician Ricardo Lang, a prominent leader, get this, of an environmental party, the Green Party. I guess, wow, okay.
You're speechless.
It requested information that would identify, so they literally called Gab, okay, the German officials, that would identify who it was. They wanted his IP address, they wanted his name, they wanted all of his information, because he was under suspicion in Germany, and they wanted to do a criminal investigation for calling somebody fat. I'm sorry. Yes, it's offensive. It's rude. You shouldn't do that. I'm not advocating it. But for the love of God, it is not a crime. That's thought crime stuff.
That's frightening. But, if you want to live in those kind of socialist countries, go on ahead. Because, they have better healthcare and, I don't know, beer and Autobahns.
They have tremendously good beer. And they have women that can carry like 5 liters of beer at once. Which is, that's...
Yeah,
look,
that's...
if you're in a short skirt and a push-up bra and you're carrying like 15 liters of beer, you should get a Nobel Prize for that.
But we laugh. But you know what? We're not far behind. Of course, again, our video content and our YouTube channels shut down.
We're not on YouTube tonight for a reason.
Well,
we said a word that rhymes with Maxine several times and got a strike.
Yeah. And so then someone posts and says, well, hey, this other interview is so good. How come nobody's seeing it or watching it? I'm like, because it's been shut down. So not even just the famous people get shut down. Us too. The little guys.
Yeah, maybe someday we'll be famous and then they can shut us down. It really is amazing.
But this
it really
the beginning. We're talking about not laughing. What's going on in Germany with a criminal offense to say that? So what? Next thing, criminal offense to challenge the things that we challenge that were used to be part of science, or that you want to challenge in anything, not even just science, or saying things that hurt people's feelings. You know what? I would be sending you people out there to jail for calling me a nurse. Because how many times in my career did I get called a nurse? Are you a nurse? Oh, you're in healthcare.
Come on, May. Nurses have vaginas. You know that.
And so I have high respect for nurses.
You had a patient.
In fact,
you had a patient.
I have high respect, but I'm not a nurse. So therefore,
right.
I could say that's offensive to me.
You had a patient, 4 years ago, say to you, they actually let girls be doctors.
This guy was an idiot, but he came waltzing across the country from New York City to Oregon, came into the clinic. And I will say all of it. This is what he said to me. Oh, you're the doctor, but you're a woman and you're white. Do they really let women be doctors in the U.S.? I think it was the U.S. or Oregon. I can't remember what it was. He's like, and you're white. Now, this gentleman was a black gentleman, and I think he was a little bit Looney Tunes in the head. But I was the first time.
Well, was he? But in fairness, was he trying to be funny?
No.
I mean, because some people don't get other people's jokes. Like I get that. So.
No. Wait. If he was trying to be funny, like it was lost on me, and I've watched all kind of dumb funny, and it was not funny. In fact, he kept saying weird stuff continuously.
Well, maybe he's just mentally ill. Then.
That's what I'm just saying. Although then we kind of got around to, I don't know. But he kept saying that, oh, wow, you're a woman doctor and you can do that.
Yeah, we've only been doing that for how long have we been doing that in the United States? 175 years.
Anyway,
First woman that graduated from him.
I was just, yeah, that's why I thought, nah, he's clearly not quite right upstairs. So I was ticked at first, but then I kind of just blew it off and kind of thought, okay, I think he's just not quite emotionally stable, and had a little empathy for it.
Well, you have to. You're
Yeah, no, I did. I'm just saying, that's why I let it go.
Okay, next segment. Shit happens.
Oh, that crash is so loud. Just like the lightning bolt that hit our front road today.
Oh my gosh. Unbelievable. I mean,
it's nothing like finishing an interview with a 5-time Emmy-winning journalist. That's all I'll say, because that's coming up next week. A 5-time Emmy Award-winning journalist that is not afraid to speak the truth. And literally, as we finished, I thought the neighbor's house blew up with the sound about as loud as
Florida
that.
lightning is delightful.
Thunder. The thunder was loud. The lightning. Just bright.
Well, I guess it is the thunder.
Wrong sense.
So check this one out. Again, you can't make this up. Hospital staff lost a piece of a man's skull, then charged him for the mistake.
What?
Yes. Bill. Yeah, so this was at Emory Hospital, or one of Emory University's hospitals in Atlanta. This guy had a brain bleed, and they did the right thing, and they took a flap of skull out, and they saved his life.
And explain to people why you take a flap of skull out.
To relieve the pressure so that you don't stroke out or die, because the pressure will eventually push parts of your brain through the bottom of your skull, and then all the, your heart rate and your breathing mechanisms and everything gets essentially choked
So they
up.
take the bone, this little plate of bone out,
right,
to relieve the pressure.
And then he was supposed to come back a month or 2 months later and get it replaced. And then they couldn't find it. So then what they did is they didn't
send it home in the little garment bag.
No, the little bag with the little sticky slippers and stuff. No, they didn't do that. So then they sent him home, or no, then he came back for the revision so that, you can have like a regular skull. I'm thinking just the big indent, like the divot, like the golf head would actually be kind of cool, but whatever. Probably having all of a skull would be good. I'm thinking. And so
wow, you did some deep thinking.
Deep thinking. And then it's just like, I can't remember that. And then you could literally scratch your brain. That would be kind of cool. So anyways, they literally, he comes back and they had to make like a fiberglass, whatever implant and put it in there. And because they did more work on this, they literally charged the guy for it, even they lost his chunk of skull. So of course he sues, and they do this investigation, and they go into the freezer and they can't find it because they have a systemic error in this university hospital where they don't identify the chunk of skull correctly. And there's this whole bunch of chunks of skull that don't have appropriate identification on it. So it's kind of like a skull jigsaw land in the freezer. And you're like, how does this happen in 2024? Like, how is there not a million zillion ways to identify this?
I'm speechless that they would have a whole pile like that.
They had several. And so they did kind of a root cause analysis, and they're like, well, we have a whole bunch and we're not sure.
So is it like remember, preschool where you have those tables with the round and the square and the triangular shaped things you have to fit in, and they just take a couple and see what.
Right.
fits?
So like, I'm just envisioning them going, okay, we're going to get sued. So we got to get this guy's chunk of skull back. So let's put him under anesthesia. Let's get the bag of skull bits and just start shoving chunks in there until we find the right piece. And then we'll go, okay, that's his piece. And then we'll throw all the other ones back in the freezer. Well, thankfully they didn't do that. But I'm imagining.
You know what? Nothing surprises me more that they would make a mistake.
Well, they
bill them for their mistake. Because man, that happens not just in healthcare, but in every seems
Well, of
like
course it
everything
does.
else.
But it's so simple. It's so simple. You go, you know what? Whoopsie, Butterfingers. We don't know which piece of skull is yours, but we're going to give you like an implant, and it's going to be fine.
And it's a write-off.
And
hello,
and we're going to give you a deal, and then we're going to sign you up for the Jam and Jelly of the Month Club, or something. Like there's a way to deal with this. Like you have to own that right away because you're going to own it eventually. So you might as well own it early and pay whatever you got to pay early, because what you're going to pay later is going to be way more. So I just like, you can't. Well, that actually happened to a friend of ours.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, labeling skulls is really hard. You know, it's not 1975 where they just take out the old Dymo tape and it's like, and then like stick her on there.
Sounds like you with all the cords that we have in the house. We don't know what they belong to.
Oh, but I can.
And there's a box of cords.
Oh boy! Wow! Wait, I just.
And then we just get to go spend more money buying more cords. 3D flaps don't work. Interesting. So, I guess I don't know how they tried to make his new flap.
Well, he may have just
maybe they just salvaged.
May have a skin flap. Literally, he may have a skin flap.
They might have just salvaged one.
No, seriously, he may just have a skin flap.
Apparently, if I'm reading the comments correctly, you cannot send a patient home to another. You can't go to another country if you do not have a proper skull revision. I've never heard. I don't understand that. What? So if you go through, that doesn't make sense to me. But I have to look that up.
No, she can comment again. I'm more than happy.
If you're missing a skull flap, you can't repatriate to another country. That's an interesting tidbit of info, but I'll have to look that one up.
Yeah, it's like I just can't. If you've ever had knee surgery, and May and I literally have like a frequent flyer card for knee surgery. They write on your knee so many times, and they ask you so many times before you get any pre-med or anesthesia or anything, which knee, and it like the amount of redundancy is so completely insane. I can't imagine that they could lose a piece that they took out of somebody. Just like if you take a kidney out for, like, if you have to remove somebody's kidney because they have kidney cancer, like it's pretty important that the pathologist gets the correct kidney.
Yes.
Right. You know, and so, man, I don't know. Maybe, you know, freak weird things happen. I get it. So let's see here. What does that say?
The flap made it so far, then got sent back at the border. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh,
I don't know where they're trying to. This person was going from
that's a foreign country.
Another country. Interesting. Now I know that when you do a craniectomy and you take out a chunk of skull, you're right. I mean, you could drive, but I would be really leery about flying with the pressure change in the plane. I don't think you can.
No, I bet you get a super amazing
fly.
buzz.
No, man, I bet you can't fly because the pressure.
No. I don't think it's enough pressure change.
Here you go. Many airlines require medical exemption if this occurred more than 10 days before the flight. Traveling after for very few neurosurgeons accept bone flaps for replantation that have not been stored according to their protocols.
Right. No, but this one was at one hospital. They took it out in one hospital. They put it in the hospital's freezer. It wasn't a cross-border thing like we are familiar with. It was all in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Well, and hello to Stacy. She's joining us tonight finally. So great to see you, Stacy. Yes, it has been a while. Well, that was an enlightening story. Very frightening. So make sure you have all your parts when you leave the hospital, or they're accounted for in the vault of this. You need the little safe at the hospital. Yeah.
Can you imagine that though? They give you the personal belongings bag with like your clothes and your little booties and all that stuff. And then they give you the spare parts bag. Like, well, how would that make you feel? Right. It's like, It's like going to a mechanic and getting your alternator changed, and then he just has a bag of shit he couldn't find where to put it.
I might
back
get a
on the
hip
car.
replacement. They could send me home with the chunk of bone they cut out of my leg.
Here's the bag of stuff I couldn't figure out where it went.
Oh, my goodness.
What do you got? You got something, and then we're almost done.
Well, this came in the mail today, and I was like, what the heck? If you can see this, what I'm holding up is the Barbie vitamins, care of a company called Haya, which I actually never heard of, but it's the new Kids Daily Multivitamin Barbie Limited Edition. And it comes in Barbie pink in this nice little glass case. Apparently, they also make Kids Daily Probiotics and Kids Bedtime Essentials. You know what Kids Bedtime Essentials were when we had kids?
A glass of water.
Brushing your teeth, flossing. Well, forget the flossing. Yeah, a glass of water.
What's in the bedtime?
A glass of water, trip to the bathroom, a nighttime story, and lights out. So now, all right. So Haya is a company based out of Seattle that it's endorsed by Dr. Mark Hyman and many other well-known people. But they are trying to get rid of the crap that's filling multivitamins for kids, which I do appreciate. They don't want to put dyes. There's no gluten, yeast, dairy, sugar, and no gummy junk fillers in the gummies. So,
and how much do they cost?
Well, we're getting to that. So they have the classic multivitamin, and they do have the refillable glass bottles, which I do appreciate. They come with a sticker pack to decorate your glass bottle, because there's nothing that says like, hello, I want to be addicted to supplements and prescriptions for the rest of my life, even as a kid, that says I get to decorate my prescription bottle pack as stickers too. And a 30-day supply for the multivitamin is, for one kid, is $15. However, you can also get Kids Bedtime Essentials, which are $17.50 for a month. Probiotics, which are $15 a kid. And greens, because, no kid likes to eat broccoli. So let's just give it to them in a pill for $27 for a 30-day supply for a kid. Almost $1 a day to get your kid greens. So what's in the bedtime snacks that have a delicious taste, zero sugar, and are parent improved? The key nutrients are, any guesses? There's no melatonin in it. Chamomile flower extract, choline, GABA, L-theanine, all these neurotransmitter supplements that stimulate brain to calm down, as well as some magnesium, calcium, vitamin B6.
And Valium.
Yeah. Probiotics. I don't know. I agree with giving kids probiotics and playing with their gut microbiome.
Well, they shouldn't need it.
But they're supposedly lactobacillus of various kinds, large tree fiber. So as our friend Dr. Sabine Hazen would say, is if you're giving dehydrated probiotics in a pill, they're not live, they're not active, they're not real, and they're probably not a good thing.
So we'll see. We don't know anything about this.
No, I'm just presenting it because it came in the mail.
Because it's Barbie.
And I'm like, Barbie, and they're targeting it to kids, obviously, marketing with the stickers and the cool Barbie pink. And yeah, I want the Barbie vitamins. I just remember Flintstones, but I don't know. It is hard to get food that has the right vitamins, etc. But anyway.
Okay. My favorite part. What are we drinking?
What are you drinking, Tim?
Yeah, same as you. Monkey in Paradise. Crafted in Florida from St. Petersburg, where I go kiteboarding. Cheers.
Very tasty.
Very good.
Mine is diluted heavily with some strawberry lemonade. It's a refreshing. Is it fall yet? It's not a pumpkin spice.
Well, it'll be fall in like 2 weeks.
But Starbucks does have the pumpkin spice latte out. So we will have to do something.
And what it means is, in Southwest Florida, it will be fall, which means it will go from a high of 95 degrees to 91.
Mm-hmm.
And the humidity will drop from 85 to 82. Ah, the fall air. It's so refreshing.
I know. I just want to sleep at night.
No, I mean, Stacy's got it. It's the Flintstones, except it's gummies and they probably taste good. Whereas Flintstones vitamins was like going to elementary school and eating the chalk off the chalkboard, but it happened to look like Barney. And the chalk tasted better.
I couldn't tell you if it did or not because I failed to do that experiment.
I'm just
the randomized controlled trial.
Did you ever get
versus the Flintstones?
Did you ever get to clean the chalk brushes?
Of course.
And like it was like the highlight of your week.
If you were the good child, you get to clean the brushes.
Yeah,
and empty the
shove
pencil
them into that
sharpener.
machine. Like I'm sure OSHA would have an absolute conniption now. Like these kids shoving, and if you did it right and you let it go, then the brush went like shooting out of the brush machine.
Forget all the talc powder causing disease. What about all that chalk brush stuff we inhaled? Huh.
It's like, kids, we have the new asbestos chalk. Timmy, would you like to clean the chalk brushes and make sure you take a big snooter of that chalk?
Yeah, right up there with all that graphite or lead in the pencils that we used to chew on.
1973.
Chewing on pencils.
Great year.
Did you chew pencils?
Absolutely, I did. And people are like, you're going to get lead poisoning. And then the genius by fifth grade is like, it's graphite. It's not lead, you dumbass.
But maybe there's lead in the paint that was on the pencil.
Oh, I'm sure there was there.
Sure it's yellow. Those HB.
HB2 with lead. Yes, I'm sure that was the case. All right. So I have, this one is kind of interesting. I'm going to play it because I think it's funny. And if you don't like it, and if it's politically offends you,
no.
Deal with it.
Should we just take a break now?
Nope. Okay, this guy took my favorite, it's 1 minute long. He took my favorite TV show when I was growing up, The Dukes of Hazzard, and made it the Dukes of MAGA. Enjoy.
Just a good old boy, never meaning no harm. Beats all you never saw, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born. Straightening the curves, flattening the hills. Someday the mountain might get them, but the law never will. Making their way the only way they know how. That's just a little bit more than the law will allow. Just a good old boy, they wouldn't change if they could. Fighting the system like a true modern day Robin Hood.
All right, that was one of the best I've seen, and Boss Hog was my favorite.
Hillary Clinton, that guy, that Dilly guy, that stuff is unbelievable. He has a new one with Kamala, and it's called Gigglin's Island because of all of her laughing or whatever, and it is just the guy is Gigglin's an absolute
that was
genius.
Funny. Oh my gosh, I love that. You did a great job, Melania. Daisy Duke, but Boss Hog. Oh my god.
No, like it's just like how they. I mean, God bless the internet because there's these unbelievable and Elon for letting us like play that stuff. It is just so.
These are the things
funny.
My husband watches when he's not at work.
No. These are the things your husband watches when he is at work.
I know it, and I wasn't gonna say it.
There's not even a question of that. Oh, dude, that was so funny. But anyways, I guess we're done. I don't think we have anything else, but I'm glad I shared that because that was really, really funny.
Well, that was a good way to wrap things up. What's coming out on the show tomorrow on the podcast? The
unbelievably courageous Dr. Christopher Rake. actually a neighbor of ours now, kind of. He lives in St. Petersburg, and was an anesthesiologist who worked in Southern California and made UCLA medicine fire him for refusing certain mandated things. And it's a great story. It's really a spiritual journey is what it is. If you are of the same religious persuasions as us, you'll find it incredibly challenging and enlightening.
Yeah.
I didn't 100% agree with him.
He stands up for what he believes, and definitely, I will say that sometimes you need to choose your battles, and I think he thinks sometimes that most things are a battle when I would say no, but that's a personal
But at the
choice.
same time, he lived by his convictions, and that's all that matters.
He did.
I 100% reverentially agree, and think that's we need more of that.
He stays true to himself. That's all
we
I'll
need
say.
way more of that.
So check that one out. Of course, I'm excited for more good shows to come. I don't know. I feel like talking about our interviews yesterday because people will be able to hunt for those eventually.
So we were on 2 shows yesterday. They will be aired in the next several weeks. One was Typology with Ian Morgan-Cron. May was having a freaking fangirl freak out because he is the author, probably the world expert on the Enneagram personality.
The author of the book, The Road Back to You. And then
great guy.
The follow-up book that he does with his co-author Suzanne Stabile is I think it's The Road Less Traveled. I can't think of what it is, but if you have read
anything about the Enneagram, he's the man.
It's amazing. And so of course I was fangirling out. And then what happened was, of course, he's a psychologist, and he was going to ask us what our Enneagram type was. And then it turned into this weird therapy session where I felt like I was being confronted with my paint choices again, as I am.
Well, you should be. And he figured it out because he is a spiritual man. So that was good. And then we were on Dr. Roger McFillin's Radically Genuine podcast. And that was a really good episode. I was very proud of that. We did a real deep dive into, the nuances of how the actual American healthcare system works. Mm-hmm. And how it works for physicians and why patients are frustrated. And he asked a lot of questions because he didn't know, because he's largely outside of it.
Dealing with the mental health side of things. And that's a frustrating band to be on.
So check out those 2 shows, Typology and Radically Genuine. They're both great. They have massive followings, really, really good stuff. Great people. Super enjoyable. We'll be on there eventually, but follow those guys. They're completely worth a follow. This one we have to do. The lady who was upset at her son, whatever.
Do you want me to read it? The lady who was upset for her neighbor for calling animal control on her son because he identified as an animal.
Yeah, we have to.
That's the world we're coming to. I would love to share that story.
That looks amazing.
Well, we need to remind you to please like, share, comment, and give us some feedback on the podcast platforms. If you're watching this now on Facebook, or if it's Rumble, X, please share with somebody. It really does help us get more views, and it really makes a difference for advertising as well as marketing and sponsors. So that's what we ask in return. I know Tim is so entertaining. So for the price of a small ticket to the what does it cost now to go to the movies? $20 to get in?
Yeah, we don't charge you anything.
We don't charge you anything. So the way you can pay us back for Tim's entertainment factor is just to comment, like, share, and try to get our show pushed around the internet and on the web. That means a lot to us. And until next time, we will keep it BS free and have a cocktail on us.
It's no secret that medicine is a bit uptight. That's why Tim and I created BS Free MD, to mix things up a little and have fun in the process. Besides, we are having these exact same discussions all the time, so we thought we might as well invite everyone to the party. If you really like us, you can get plenty more and maybe see one of Tim's cool tattoos on our Instagram or Facebook pages at BS3MD. See you next time.
But we try to keep BS3MD as raw and real as possible. We can't be held responsible for any medical decisions or discussions had as a result of what you've heard on the show. We know, bummer. But the truth is, we really do care about your questions. So feel free to reach out to us by email at doc@bs3md.com.